biker just went by on like a pedal bike. I could never be a I could never be a vlogger. When I see someone, like, I can imagine her, she's riding by, she's looking at me sitting here on my porch in front of a camera thinking, what is that? Why does that narcissist think that he has something that's so interesting that someone might want to watch it? So, I just uploaded the video. I got a comment that was so funny. Just uploaded the video, went live like an hour ago of the doing Mrs. W's remodel, right, for her bathroom. And I have to give credit where credit's. Some people know exactly how to get right to the point, right? Like, can cut through all of the BS and get right to, what is the motivation behind doing something. And Jerome Tidnick wrote, "This is how you get out of the doghouse after missing the plane," right? Which is, now that did cross my mind. So here's the story. So Mrs. W had her like 20-year college reunion. It was a big deal. She kept, she got the nice new clothing, and she was really excited for me to meet all of her friends, which I haven't met most of those friends because they're up in Minnesota, right? And so she went ahead a couple days, and she likes to spend a few extra days with her parents, and she took the kids. So I was going to be here for 2 days, and I was supposed to follow up behind, right? So of course, she must have sent me like a half a dozen emails, with the itinerary and calendars and reminders, all these things, and because she knows what's going to happen, right? Because this isn't the first time. So I'm thinking, like, okay, so the flight's not till later, so I don't really have to worry about that too much. And then I'm looking at my watch and I'm thinking, yeah, I probably ought to start getting ready for that. So I pack all my stuff, right? And I called Brian, and Brian asked if he could take me to the airport because it's a couple hours from here, right? So Brian loads up, and we get in the van, and he's gonna drop me off at the airport, and then I'm gonna tie in with Mrs. W, and then we'll fly back together, and then we'll pick up her car, which is in the the parking, and then come home, right? That was the deal. So of course I'm playing back in my head, and oh yeah, I got plenty of time, and we leave, and I'm kind of hungry, so we stop, and we get some food, and we hit some traffic, and so then I show up at the airport, grab my bag. Brian drops me off, takes the van, he's heading back east, right? Well, I walk up to the counter because I didn't check in, online like I should have, and just in time for this guy to tell me, it's like, well, you're late, you can't board that plane. And so there I'm on the phone with Brian, so I missed the flight, right? So I'm standing outside, and I'm thinking, how does this keep happening to me? Because I said this isn't the first time, and so I've got to make the dreaded call, right? I got to call Mrs. W now, and she's like on her way to the reunion. I'm supposed to meet her. Like, we have a tight schedule. I have to call her and tell her, oh, I missed another flight, And it was so funny on the other end of the line because she, we don't. One thing I really love about our relationship, our marriage, is that we don't keep score, or good or bad, or who does what, And but we both have our roles, right? And it's both of us come together to we understand that there's not one more important than the other, right? So I make the phone call. Hey, baby, I missed the flight, right? And of course, there's like this stone dead silence on the other end for a long time, right? And so she obviously she's not happy about this, but to her credit, she's just, instead of being angry and being upset, she just went to, well, let's see what our options are, how we can fix this. Let's get back together in an hour. So in that hour, of course, she's she's putting everything together, and to make this work anyway, it was going to be like $2,000 for a plane ticket. It was just not an option, right? So I decided to stay here. So that leads us kind of like to the story. So I thought I'd tell a little bit of story about some things that I'm not very good at, and a whole bunch of packages opened up, and I just started tearing into them because I'm a petulant child. And I thought, well, let's look at them together. Maybe it'd be fun to see what's in the box, because you never really know. So the point is that, so I have gotten, so we've been married now for 15 years now, right? And as I missed the flight, and I was thinking about what Jerome wrote, that's not why I started building the closet for her. Although it did cross my mind. I remember thinking yesterday, like, no, this would go a long way in patching up, me being irresponsible and not meeting that flight, right? But if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, and I always am, The reason why, I hate to admit this. I hope Mrs. W just what. Let's say one of the reasons why. Of course, so 50% of it, of course, I want to make Mrs. W happy. But there is a good other 50% was I needed an excuse to go to town because I needed something to eat. That's what it came down to. Because Mrs. W, she anticipated me having some difficulties for a couple days, right? Before I tied in with her. Well, that's turned into like, now it's been going on like, is it 6 days? 6 days, and still another biker. I'm cringing right now. Maybe I'll just whisper and try to look like I'm doing. If I hold this legal pad up, does it look like I'm doing like something important? Yeah. Nothing to see. Nothing to see here. What were we talking about? I forget. What were we talking about? Oh yeah. Okay. So she had provided for me. So there's like, she knows I'm not going to eat. If it were just up to me, I'll just eat one meal a day. I'll eat like a 52-ounce steak, and I'll drink about 12 cans of water, of the sparkling water, and maybe some potato chips, right? Maybe cookie, or whatever. You get the idea. So this 2 days now has turned into 5 or 6 or whatever it is, and things are starting to get desperate, right? Because I don't know how I got along so well on my own as a bachelor. I mean, I actually ran a house. I mean, it wasn't disgusting. I mean, I cooked things and I did laundry. I think I even ironed some things, all of the things, all of the domestic, and I didn't even have home ec in class. I mean, because home ec in school, that was for girls. And the guys were all in the shop class. So I was not, and I grew up in a very patriarchal family. My dad didn't do any of those things. My mom ran the economics of the house, and my dad ran his business. Right? That's the way it works. So my sister left the house with all sorts of excellent training. But me personally, apart from doing the dishes, I mean, I'm not prepared. Is what I'm saying. I can do it, but I just don't like to do it, and I'd rather just go hungry and just wait. And anyway, so for me, the idea, a good portion of the idea for building the closet was I thought, what project can I start that I don't have the material to finish? Therefore, giving myself a reason to run down to the lumber store and get something to eat, right? So I've been, and I think in my subconscious, I make lists, and I think subconsciously I leave things out so that I can't finish the job. So then the next day I have to go back again, of course, and get something to eat. Because that way if I don't cook anything, then I don't have to clean anything, right? I had this idea years ago. I ran it by Mrs. W, and she just wasn't down with it. I said, instead of having a dining room table, let's do this. Let's go to a kitchen, one of those places like where they weld stainless steel cabinets up, for restaurants and things. Let's weld up imagine like a poker table, right? It's like 5-sided or 6-sided, whatever it is. In the center, we have the stainless steel all kind of custom broke so that it goes down, it all drains down to the center. In the center of this is like an industrial, like a heavy duty, like not a homeowner version, but an industrial garbage disposal. Right in the center. Everything leads down to that gravity, and then on the top you got the big commercial sprayer. Our second house that we remodeled, I loved those things. I loved everything commercial at the time. I was really into that. So I went to the restaurant supply company and I got one of those like super powerful, with the big spring on it, like you see in the back of the restaurant, and I installed that in our kitchen. And the funny thing about it is it had so much pressure because it's not regulated by the water Nazis, now that they put the little washers in our little deals, so you can't get any flow, and so you're standing there in the shower and you don't even get wet after taking one. And used to be you could take those things out, and now they've made them like Bubba proof, so even if you take them out, then they don't work, or they spray water all over it and hit you right in the pants, right? So those restaurant ones, they don't have that. They're not limited by the greenies. So what happened was she would spray out the dishes, and there would just be water everywhere. It was like, anyway, I ended up replacing that. That didn't work out. But anyway, I put that right in the center, right? And then I would have at the seating position, each one there would be like a depression. Imagine like you took like a stainless steel cup, and then you cut a hole, and you put it up in the bottom, and then you welded it around there. And then you could like just pour your drinks in there, and then you just have a big, like a heavy duty straw. right? And the drain plug in the bottom, right? So you rinse it all out. So there you have it, right? You have your whole meal. You just plop the mashed potatoes, the steak, maybe even put a grill in the center, right? And then when it's time to clean up, you know, who in flatware, you don't need the flatware. I mean, maybe a knife. Use your pocket knife, right? I use a pocket knife for cutting food all the time. Anyway, it would save a lot of time with all of these domestic duties. So I guess what it comes down to is this. So why I was thinking, why do I have a hard time? Why am I missing flights? The last one that I missed was going to the Midwest where my in-laws live. I was really proud of myself. I think it was a layover, so it wasn't like I showed up early. So there was like a 2-hour layover or something. I was at the gate, right, and it wasn't even in a big airport. I was at the gate and I was editing my videos and answering comments and stuff on my computer, and they called my name 3 times. And I looked at my watch and I'm thinking, that's funny they haven't called my name. I walked up there and she's like, the plane left 25 minutes ago. She said, were you sitting over there the whole time? I was like, yeah, I was sitting over the whole time. So why is this happening to me? Is it dementia? Is it laziness? Is it, well, you know what I think it is? It's being in the perfect relationship with the perfect woman. It's how, when I was a bachelor, I had to fill the role of a woman and of a man, right? And it's kind of an anxious, it's not a very fun thing because, it's like the story of, Jacob and Esau. Esau was a man of the field. He liked to hunt and all of that. And Jacob was hanging around the tents. He was a man with the women and all of that. And so, I always kind of, that's interesting. Those two brothers are kind of like the two opposite roles, the feminine and the masculine side of it. So I like the masculine side of it. So having a traditional home and having a wife that is so good at running our home, raising our kids, educating our children, and cooking and keeping the house and the garden and all of those things. She's so good at that. That's allowed me to kind of just result back or just to fall back into my base element, right? It was just out hunting and running around and being out in the shop and doing those things and providing for my family, so that when she's removed from me, we have become such a specialized unit, such a specialized pair, traditional family, that when she's removed from me, then it's like cutting an arm and a leg off. I mean, that's how much I depend on her, and that's how strong our team is. So I'm not going to sweat it too much. That's why I love her. She'll never hold that over my head. When she's already forgotten about it. It's not a big deal. But it's sad because you hear those comments all the time. Like I'll do something that maybe guys will watch and think to themselves, if I did that, my wife would be really cross. I said, sorry, haven't been eating very well. My wife would be very cross with me. That's not. I can't relate to that. We just don't have that relationship. We just don't keep score and keep track. I guess we have. I feel very blessed to be able to do that. But I don't know why. Let's open some packages. I thought it was funny. Okay, so I started without you here. So it's always fun to open packages. So this here is from Wagner, high quality lubricants. And I saw it was a grease gun. It's a grease gun. Ooh, it's a nice one too. It's like is this USA made? I didn't know if you could get a USA made grease gun. I can tell from the hoses. Yeah, look at that. So we've got, what do we have here? We got the same. Oh, one's just kind of a small whip, a little whip, and then there's a bigger heavy duty one. Are these the good tips? Oh yeah, made in Germany? Oh man, that's nice. I like made in Germany. You can bet that those Harbor Freight, if you bought those Harbor Freight those air hose, the end of your air hoses, the quick attach deals, I get about a year out of those things, and then one day you put it together and the ball bearings all fall out on the ground. My granddad had those things. He had USA made ones. I still have some of them. That all of the knurling, the texture, on the barrel that slides is worn off from use, and they still work. I'm still using one of them, actually. That was his. So this is nice. It's a lot of packaging, a lot of newspaper. I like when people package in newspaper versus the bubble wrap. I got all sorts of goodies here. So there's 2 grease guns. So there's a heavy lever action one. Oh, these are made in Germany too. Oh, these are really nice. Yeah, I bought that Lincoln one a couple months back, and it's nowhere near as nice as these. Oh, these are super nice. What else do we have here? Safety lock, made in Germany as well. Look at that. I wonder who made the original one. I did a video on the one. What's it called? Like the Quick Lube or something. These have really changed my life. These end of these grease guns deals, they have a spring on them, and you push the spring, and they clip on the Zerk, and then they don't come off, and you don't get grease all over the place. Oh, there's a big old box in here. This looks like maybe it's grease. 2 to 3 tube samples. Oh, it's a whole bunch of different types of grease. Man, you can get down the spider hole with all this stuff. It's just stuff is so specialized. Like even the Loctite. You know, I was reading through I was doing some service on my Husky, and in the book. Well, looks cool. Look at all the different greases in there. You guys are envious of my Loctite collection. How do you feel this, huh? Interesting. This is a whole different system. The Germans. So the Germans have developed a way you could actually probably change a grease gun without getting it all on your fingers. Let me guess. Yeah, look at that. How interesting is that? Huh. The first time we went to Europe with Mrs. W, one of my things that I just am fascinated by is the going into European grocery stores, because everything's so different. Every little thing, just little differences. Huh, that's nice. Well, thank you guys there's more stuff in here. What's this? I don't know what that is, but it looks cool. Oh, it's like a base. It's a base for pumping grease out of a big barrel. Not sure what that is. All right, let's see what else we got there. We got this one. The guys from... Oh, the knife sharpener guys. Actually, this one was left over. We have a drill doctor. This is the new one. I have the original one, the little blue one that I've used. I probably had that for 30 years or so. I love these little things. People always say, "Oh, you need to sharpen your drill bits with the bench grinder." I haven't had really good luck at that. I mean, I know if you're a machinist and that's what you do all the time, that's definitely the cool way to do it. But for just common guys that don't do it all the time, maybe we'll do a video on that. It looks like it's upgraded from the one that I have. All right, what's in this big one here? Man, I probably should have done this inside. The packing's all blowing over the yard. This one might just be like more of a domestic. Oh, that's just grass seed. I can smell it. What's this one here? Oh, I know. These are speakers. So I needed some speakers for video editing. Jack took over my old ones for his Xbox. Him and I have been playing Minecraft. Okay, some speakers. Those are not sent from subscriber. Those are ones that I ordered. Is that it? I thought there was more here. Huh. Yeah, I guess that's it. So yeah, that's what I was just gonna. I just wanted to respond to Jerome's deal. No, I didn't. It was not not building that together, the doghouse. It was, it was just because I like to do stuff for Mrs. W, and I try to do this when I have time. Whenever she leaves town, I try to do a major project. So when she comes back, then I don't tell her. So don't tell her, because she doesn't watch the videos. So I haven't put it on Instagram, but I did finish it up. I got most of it all finished. I'll put the part 2 up. Here if I haven't already, and then I got the last of the material today, so yeah, I'll have it done before she arrives, so I'll show you that so you can see it. It turned out pretty good. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.